I've got some pretty big news. I just advanced to the next league in Splinterlands. That's right, I'm now Bronze 2 and no longer a Bronze 3 scrub. And today I'll tell you how you can do the same. So I've been playing Splinterlands for about a day and a half, and I was able to advance to the next league. You can see it over here, it's mentioned Bronze League, and I have currently a rating of 435 and a power of 1135. Now let's take a look at the different leagues. So when you're playing Splinterlands, you will get rating points whenever you win. So here, these are matches that I have done, and you can see the rating of my opponent and the rating that I have. And by hovering over here, you can see how much rating points I gained. So I came all the way from 308, and then I won 4 matches in a row, bringing me to 435. And I gained about, I would say, 40 ranking points by each game that I won. Now, how many ranking points you win, that depends on the strength of your opponent. So the stronger your opponent is, or the more ranking points he has, the more you will gain. So that's how I was able to get to a rating of 435 without purchasing any cards. So I've never purchased a card in Splinterlands, only rented some with the in-game currency that I have, and that's how I managed. So let's click at the details here. So everyone starts out in a novice league, and this one's very easy to get out of because you can't lose any rating points in the novice league. So just by playing a couple of games, you'll get out of there quite easily. So then you end up in Bronze 3, where you have between 100 and 399 rating points. If you end the season in Bronze 3, you will get 5 loot chests. Now, loot chests can contain dark energy crystals, cards, card packs even, or potions. Currently, it is so that no matter when you achieved a certain league, it is the highest league that you've achieved during the season that will get you your reward. So now I'm Bronze 2, and even if I drop down back again to Bronze 3, I still will get the 7 loot chests. But that will change. So in the video that I posted yesterday, I mentioned that this system will change, and from next season onwards, it will be the league that you're in at the end of the season that will determine which season rewards you will get. So that's a pretty big change, and will definitely influence how you want to rent your cards. As you can see, the season will end in 3 days and 13 hours, so I still got some time to climb. Now, so in Bronze 2, I will get 7 loot chests. On top of that, if the season resets, I will start at 100 rating points. Now, the most difficult part about this was actually obtaining the power. And that's something I see a lot of people struggling with is, okay, how do I get this power? Now, what is this power? Well, for that, we have to take a look at our cards. So let's pick one of the cards that I have, that I own. So this is a card I own, the Harvester. And here you can see the DEC value that you see over here, that's 10. So if you combine all of the values of your cards that you own, this DEC value, if that's more than 1,000, then you have more than 1,000 power. So the combination of this DEC value of all of your cards, that's your power level. Now, this is also the same value that you get if you decide to burn your card. So I select it over here. I can click over here, convert to dark energy crystals. So then I burn the card from the game. It no longer exists. So there's only a limited amount of cards of the same type in Splinterlands. And if people turn them into dark energy crystals, they're gone for good. So the supply of the same card is actually decreasing. So if I did this, I would get an DEC. Now, of course, you can imagine, okay, 10 power per card, that's not a lot. And that's correct, because most of the cards that I got, they're not worth that much. These are the cards that I own. I actually only own 2 cards, and I got these from random chests. But I have some different cards, so I rented some cards. You can see them over here. So these are the cards that I rented. I rented a Furious Chicken, a Sandworm, Milo Crowling. That's one that I recently rented, so I still have to try him out, and then Sea Monster. Now, you can rent out cards from other players for really cheap, less than 1 cent a day, so that's what I did. Now, you can actually also make money by renting out your cards to other players. So Splinterlands is a really cool game in the sense that you can play, you can progress, but you can also earn in this game. You can so your cards that you have in the game, you can sell them for actual money. The currencies you have in the game, you can also sell them for actual money. So everything has value and is actually yours. So that's really unique. So if you'd like to try out Splinterlands yourself, feel free to join for free using the link down below in the description. Now, anyways, so these also the cards that you rent add to your power. Now, once the rent period is over, the power will of course disappear. So if you take a look at this Milo Crowling over here, you can see that he has a DEC value of 40, so he adds 40 to my power value. Now, still, it's gonna take a while. So the reason why my power value is that high is because I rented 2 gold cards. You can see them over here, gold cards. They are golden foil cards and they have a high power value. As you can see, each of these common golden cards has a power value of 500. So that's why I rented out 2 for a day, because they had a total power of 1,000. And so that brought me over the edge. Now, these cards are not really that great. I'm not even sure if I will be using them. They're for a death deck, and I don't really play death that much, so we'll see. I just rented these because I got them really for cheap. And so I'll teach you how you can get them for really cheap as well. So you have to go to the market over here. Then you go to card rentals. And here you want to sort the cards by price. So here you can see the cheapest cards first. And all of these cards, they cost 0.1 DEC per day to rent out. So they're really cheap. Now, I look for golden cards specifically, so then you select gold and you deselect regular. And here you can see that the golden cards which are being rented out. So currently this Undead Rex is once again super cheap. So you click on this one. Under rent, then you click over here on price. And so here you can see the prices for which they are rented out. So less than 1 DEC per day. So that's really cheap. And you can see kind of like the regular price would be around 4 DEC per day. So that's definitely a good deal. And sometimes you just turn up these cards. So then you have to be really fast, click on them and click on rent. You either decide to pay with credits or with DEC. It's up to you. And then you click on rent and you can rent them. So if you click on rent, then you have to decide for how many days you want to rent them. I usually go for 1 day because, yeah, the game is quickly evolving and I'm also testing out different strategies. And you can always rent them out the next day once again. So I usually go for 1 day. One thing that you want to be really aware of when you're renting cards is this clock symbol over here. Preferably you don't rent any cards which have this clock symbol, because that means that they're currently inactive and you will have to wait around 24 hours before they once again become active and you can actually play with them. So preferably you don't rent out any cards which have this clock symbol over here. So that's how I was able to find these really cheap cards. Now, another website that I can really recommend is Monsterscom. And if you go to rentals up top over here, so you have to log in, then you can have an overview of all of the cards that you can rent out. So you have some filters over here on the right hand side on which you can select if you want to specifically have a fire card. That's how you can drill down on them. If you know what card you're looking for, then you can just type the name in over here. So if I'm looking for the chicken, the Furious Chicken, it's over here. And then I can see, okay, I'm currently renting out one for 7.4 DEC per day. So you can click over here on the rental options to see what's available. So I'll click over here and then you see all the different ones. So you probably want to scroll down for level 1 if you're starting out. So I'll scroll down to see the level 1s. These are usually the cheapest. And so you can see, okay, there's one available for 8.9 DEC. As you can see, regular price turns out to be somewhere around 14 DEC, I guess. And I was actually able to get mine even cheaper for 7.4. So you have to constantly be checking out this website, peakmonsters.com, and then also the in-game marketplace to find any good deals. And if you refresh once in a while, a good deal will pop up, and then you have to be quick and snatch it up. Because as you can see, the Rex is already gone, so now this one, the battering ram, is the cheapest, but he's already a bit more expensive than the other options. But still, in comparison, normally this one costs like 8 DEC per day, now only 1.8. So if we were specifically looking for this card, that's even better. So that's how I was able to get the power. And so next up, I will have to be grinding to get to bronze 1. And then I also need to increase my power once again. I'll need over 5,000 power. So yeah, That's something I'll worry about later. I only specifically rented out these cards because they were so cheap and to get me to the next league, basically. I think all in all, these cards to rent out, they probably cost me somewhere between 4 or 5 DEC, I guess, to rent out in total. It's something, it's not that much, but yeah, as a starter player, you want to, of course, don't spend too much and you want to be really looking for the best deal. So if you spend some time on there, you'll get a feel for the market and see when you can snatch up a good deal. Now, of course, how do you know which card that you actually have to get? I have this handy image over here, which can tell you which combinations of cards you might be looking for. So I'll explain this chart to you. You have basically two parts up on this chart. So you have the top part, which tells you how much each card is worth, and is specifically for regular cards. The bottom half is for golden cards, and you can see the power value of golden cards is a lot higher than those of regular cards. It's actually 50 times higher for a golden card. So in most cases, if you're specifically looking for power, you'd probably want to purchase golden cards. Now, how much do you see it's worth depends a bit on which set they came from. So you have some alpha and beta cards and some promo cards. These fall in this category. Then you have some beta and reward cards. These fall in this category. Then you have dice, untamed, and reward cards, which fall into this category. Now, you can see the border of the card will determine if it's this category or this category. In all cases, you can always double check, of course, on the card itself. It will tell what the DEC value of that card is. And then the other very big factor is, of course, the rarity of the card. So, of course, legendary cards are worth more than common cards. So the option that I went was purchasing or renting out two common golden cards, I think from the Untamed or reward sets, I guess. And so that gave me 1,000 power, enough to get to the next league. If you're looking for more power, there's probably some better options out there. But I think I also checked for the option to rent out one legendary card, regular legendary card. The deal was not really there. In my personal opinion, renting out two common golden cards was a little bit better. But that's something that you'll have to look out for yourself. Check out the market, see what the best deal is. Now, one cool part about golden cards, if you actually use them, is that they increase the amount of DEC you get per battle. So for each golden card that you use in a battle, you will get 10% additional DEC from that battle. So that can be really, really useful. Now, like I mentioned, I'm not really convinced about my cards that they're that good. But I guess if I have like a battle where you can spend like 99 mana, this Undead Rex might be a pretty good card to put into my deck. And this Giant Scorpion, yeah, it's not bad, but I'm not sure if it's great either. I should have to compare it with some other cards. Perhaps let's take a look. What are some other dev cards we have here? So for 4 mana, what are some other cards I can get? So for example, this Animated Corpse, how does it compare to this Giant Scorpion? It's more or less the same, I guess. This Scorpion is a bit faster and has armor, which I usually prefer. I like to have like a monster with a little bit armor, but not too much. Because what is armor? It's basically the same as health. But if somebody attacks a monster for more than its armor value, it will not receive that additional damage unless it has the Pierce ability. So in normal cases, even if the Giant Scorpion is attacked with 10 damage, it will only get rid of its armor, and it will have to be attacked a second time to completely kill it. So that's the advantage of having armor. Now, on the other hand, you also have magic attacks, and these can bypass armor. So that's then a disadvantage of having armor. So the Scorpion would be a bit weaker against magic attacks, while the Animated Corpse would be stronger against magic attacks. But even if you take that into consideration, it is also one faster. So I guess the Giant Scorpion is at least a little bit better than the Animated Corpse, if you take that as a comparison. Yeah. I have to test it out a bit. Like I mentioned, I don't really play Dev all that much, but now I might have to just check it out. But in all cases, the main purpose of this video was to tell you how you can progress to Bronze 2, how you can buy cheap or rent out cheap power, and hopefully get those end-of-season rewards. So, if you're interested in playing Splinterlands yourself, check out the link down below in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I'll definitely plan on making some more Splinterlands videos. See you next time and take care.